Welcome to the process. It is Monday, January 10th. I'm Josh Engleman, and I'm here to break down a 7-game NBA slate. Coming off the weekend, I'm excited to dive back into the round ball. So if you're here, and based on the way that I see chat, you are here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter, at Josh Engleman. It's great to see everybody. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Lots of good mornings, lots of coffee cups, lots of thumbs ups. It's great to see. So good morning to everybody that's here. It's great to see everybody. Coming off of a lackluster final weekend of the NFL regular season. Yeah, I'm saying lackluster. It's time to just focus on the NBA. I couldn't be happier to do that. Solid slate for today. It'll be fun to dive into. I don't have much else for like an early morning rant. Pretty normal week. I've mentioned it before, but we'll mention it again now that we're into this week. There will be no process show on Thursday. There won't be a single piece of content for me on Thursday. I am just full stop off. So we'll be off on Thursday. That's it. I won't be around Wednesday night as well. So there won't be a no tweet of updates or anything from Wednesday morning. So from the time that I get off of the strategy show on Wednesday until the process show on Friday morning, I will be fully unavailable. But otherwise, we're grinding hard this week. So let's get it started now. I got my coffee. I'm anxiously awaiting this first sip. I'm incredibly thirsty for coffee right now. So hope you guys can wake up with me. Let's do this. Get your coffees out, tea, water, beer, whatever you got, joints, anything that you can use right now to start your day. We're here for a cheers. I've got mine. I hope you've got yours. Rise and grind. Cheers to you all. Good luck today. Somebody from this show is pulling something big time today. I hope it's me, but I hope it's you guys too. There it is. There it is. Make these quick transitions. And then let's get started talking at least a little bit about Prize Picks, the presenting sponsor of this show. Go to awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. That's where you guys can get the details. 1 month free of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Deposit bonus up to $100. We've got a free Awesemo Prize Picks player prop tool on the website because that's what you're doing in Prize Picks. You're worried about props, overs and unders. You're building parlay cards. You don't have to worry about fantasy points and building a lineup, so to speak. There's no salary caps here. Go check out Prize Picks. Make sure you go into the link. Top of the banner up here, awesemo.com/prizepicks-promo. Phil, that's awesome, man. Everybody loves that kind of ROI. That's good to see. Congrats, Phil. Ronald Jones, that one feels more familiar for me. Alrighty. Well, let's dig into it. We got a lot to talk about. I cleared out a bunch of stuff in this sheet too, so we are going to take a look at some rates a little bit more than we normally do. We got Milwaukee up first. I have no idea what the current status is for Milwaukee, but I assume half of these guys are still out. At the very least, I hope they're either out or all the way back. Not really all that interested in the questionable games. Okay, that could be worse. So no Drew Holiday, no Grayson Allen. Connaughton is questionable. DiVincenzo is allegedly already back. No George Hill, no Brook Lopez. So let's go ahead and gut this rotation for Milwaukee to start. And I think we need to assume some starting lineup here. Middleton, Giannis, Portis, yes. I mean, Dante DiVincenzo might start. Like, you could pretty easily start him and play him 20 minutes. And then I'm going to assume that Connaughton is in. So let's go ahead and assume that Dante DiVincenzo plays 20 minutes at the 1. That Pat Connaughton comes back and plays 28 minutes. I mean, why wouldn't he? Yeah, that makes sense to me. Bobby Portis. No reason to suspect that, like, without Cousins now, there's no reason to suspect that Portis is coming back to anything less than 32 minutes. Mamu is probably playing a decent chunk of time. We know what we're getting out of Giannis. And in a matchup against Charlotte, we got to remember, taking on Charlotte is about as good as it gets from a fantasy perspective. They play incredibly fast. You can see the total. Well, I mean, you can see it, but like, you're not looking for it. 234 total on this one is like 10 points higher than anybody else on this slate and 20 points higher than some other spots. So when we inevitably get done projecting out Milwaukee, they're going to look really good. So we're getting Middleton in there for 34 minutes, Giannis in there for 34 minutes. Semi played a decent chunk of time this last time out. We have Langston Galloway now, who I actually need to move to Milwaukee. So let's get that done now. Man, Milwaukee is going to pop like crazy here. I'm really curious to see what it ultimately looks like. So we got 34 minutes out of Wes Matthews, and since everybody's been out, we got like at least 30 out of Wes Matthews, so I am going to go to 30 as well. Mostly because he's Wes Matthews, and, well, you know, you can give him all the minutes in the world, and he never looks like a good play. I think Jordan Nwora, coming off of a game, 2 straight games where he played 30 minutes, can just get 30 again, and that will be helpful. And that leaves me 18 minutes for some combination of Semi or Rodney Hood. I guess we could probably say Rodney Hood. Maybe we'll go like 10 minutes to Rodney Hood, 8 minutes to Semi. Or Thanasis could play. I don't think it matters all that much. I definitely don't have rates in. I deleted every rate for every single player so that we can sort of start this from scratch. So this one might take, we might be here a little bit longer than we normally are, but I'm not in any particular rush today. It's an easy morning to start. So we're going to take Drew Holiday off. And I don't think that we really need to take anybody else off. There's not anybody else. I mean, I guess technically we could take Brook Lopez off, but he's been gone for so long, and he's only played 28 minutes with Drew Holiday off. So we know what we need to do here. First one up, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 35% usage rate. Everything else stays the same. Middleton with no Drew on. Oh, wait. Why is Drew still showing up here? I guess I will take Lopez off just to make it easier. Still, 35% usage rate for Giannis with no Drew Holiday on. Actually, 36.9. So we'll bump that up to 36. Does see a bit of an assist bump as well. For Middleton, 30.5% usage rate this season with no Drew on. 1.18 FanDuel points per minute. Also sees a bit of an assist bump. Not in the AM, bro. Good morning. Hi. Everybody else, I don't think that I really need to change. I guess we want to look at Portis and Nwora. So Bobby Portis with no Drew on 26% usage rate. Now, I want to know what his usage rate is alongside Giannis, since I think that's a little different. And when it's alongside Giannis, Portis gets to 24. So I'm actually totally okay with going for a higher usage rate on Portis, just because it's still high even with Giannis on. Is it the same scenario for Middleton? What is Middleton's usage rate when Giannis is on? 24. Okay, so I'm going to go down one notch there to 29. But I expect them to stagger a bit. And then Jordan Nwora, 20% usage rate when Drew is off. When Drew is off and Giannis is on, Jordan Nwora drops to 14. So I'm going to go to like 18 on Nwora, and then Wes Matthews can just end up with whatever he wants. Lots to like, though, for Milwaukee so far. Let's check out Charlotte now. For Charlotte, I think they're pretty healthy. Yeah, everybody's available for Charlotte, which means this one's actually going to be really, really easy to handle. At least they don't play a lot of random dudes. So they are firmly set into a 9-man rotation, and they have been for a while. Now, I am going to gut that rotation just to start. We're going to start with Mason Plumlee, obviously, because he's just the center. We're going to say that Mason Plumlee is playing 20 minutes. We've had PJ Washington back for 2 games, played 24 and 23. I think for right now, we have to just assume that he's going to play 24 minutes. And then I guess it's Jalen McDaniels that would be the backup there, playing 18 minutes. Now, we're going to call LaMelo Ball the point guard. LaMelo Ball has been playing a really random amount of minutes as of late, but I think 32 feels safest, which then allows us to go to 32 to Terry Rozier. I'm going to go 32 to Gordon Hayward. Yeah, we'll go 32 to Bridges at the 4. I don't really think it matters here. We'll go 34 for him, actually. Then we'll go to 32 for Gordon Hayward. Cody Martin will be confusing. So we've got 2 more guys. We got to go Cody Martin and Kelly Oubre. And they basically both need like 24 minutes. I think that's the easiest way to do it. I don't trust that at all, but this will also complicate rate for this Charlotte team. I'm really curious what they're doing with their rotations. That's going to be a conversation I want to have with Adam today on what we could reasonably expect for LaMelo and Rozier in competitive games. Now, from a rates perspective for Charlotte, they play such a tight rotation that I think I just kind of need to go with aggregate rates that they normally show. So LaMelo's got a 27% usage rate. Like, I think everything that I have in here for Charlotte is just correct. So let's look at this first game that we have in the books now. Milwaukee Bucks are up first. And as I expected, Giannis in this matchup, 1.84 FanDuel points per minute is just massive. Giannis looks exceptional across both sites. Bobby Portis for 6K on FanDuel, power forward center, looks exceptional. Chris Middleton looks good. And I'd say the Jordan Nwora looks okay. But Giannis and Portis, to me, are the clear best options you're going to get here. On the Charlotte side, no one is really in the same range as any of those major guys. LaMelo looks pretty good on FanDuel, where he's only 8,400. And then on DraftKings, there's not a lot separating Bridges, Ball, Rozier, and Hayward. But so far, so good. I like it. I like that first game a lot. I'm not going to like this second one a lot. The Utah Jazz are 11.5-point favorites in Detroit. 222 total. We start with Utah. No Rudy Gobert, no Joe Ingles, no Rudy Gay, no Malik Fitz or Elijah Hughes. They have signed James Ennis. So let's find out which team James Ennis was last on and move him to Utah. All right, so he's making his way from the Clips. So let's hop back in here. And let's check out Utah. Now, this one will be interesting because we definitely have a bunch of bodies out. Actually, probably need to add a couple of those Jazz bodies into this one, but we'll do that second. Let's get the real guys in first, and then we can try to figure out an actual rotation. So for Utah, we've got Conley back. I think we're just locking in Mike Conley for 30 minutes. We've got Donovan Mitchell back. I think that we're just locking in Donovan Mitchell for 36 minutes. That's about what he plays every time. And again, these guys played on Saturday, so we've got a pretty good idea of what this rotation is going to look like. Whiteside is going to be the starting center for this team. He played 30 minutes on Friday when they had nobody. He played 25.5 minutes on Saturday. Let's at least take one little peek at this rotation. So they basically just had him play a very, very normal rotation. He did lose a little bit of time to foul trouble in the first half, I believe. So I think the easiest way for us to look at Hassan Whiteside would be to say that he plays 28 minutes. And I think that you could easily go higher than that if you wanted to. Now, who was his backup? When he came off, all right, Norvel Pell is actually a rotation member now that we need to remember to put in. I don't know if I even have him on a team right now. I do. Previously on Boston. So we can correct this one. Is that legit, Doug? Were they not able to sign James Ennis? I don't think it matters. I'm not going to project him in, but... Oh, they plan to sign Denzel Valentine instead. Okay. A good eye, Doug. We wouldn't have been giving James Ennis any minutes anyway, but... It's good to get that right. So, I'll get Denzel Valentine on there at some point in time. All right, so we know no Joe Ingles, no Rudy Gobert. We're going to give Norvel Pell a 8-minute rotation. I think that works. And then they were willing to go to like either Rudy Gay or I guess like Pascal is going to be the other center. Oh, or Azubuike, I guess, could conceivably play the other 12 minutes. Let's say that it's Azubuike because I don't think that they're going to have enough minutes to really matter. We know that we want to give Royce O'Neal his standard run. So I'm going to go 34 minutes to Royce O'Neal. Actually, I should probably go 35. And then Bojan is going to need his standard issue 34, 35, just with all these guys out. Clarkson's the interesting one because Conley, Mitchell, Bojan, O'Neal, Whiteside could be the closing lineup. So I don't know how much of a bump Jordan Clarkson actually gets. I'm going to give him 28 minutes. Which only really gives Pascal 13, which I think is actually going to be fine. 3, 6. They basically, like, they have the bodies here where I guess Trent Forrest can just get the rest of this time. Because I don't know if Daniel House is the guy that's going to get the time. They don't really need to go to House. Oh, man. I don't totally know where these minutes should go. It seems like Trent Forrest because he's just sort of like the guy that also plays. So let's give Trent Forrest those 15. All right, let's call that for Utah. At the very least, we got all the starters correct. And then we need to take off. I guess we got to take off Gobert, but I get the feeling that it doesn't matter whether or not Gobert's on or off. Like, I think Whiteside will be a decent proxy. So I might not even take him off at all. It might change the rebounding a little bit, but... Because we're talking about Rudy Gobert being a guy, 18% usage rate. He's just a roll big, just like Whiteside. So I'm going to leave him on there. I actually don't think that him being out matters at all here. Like, it might be more interesting to take Ingles off, but I don't even think that's going to matter. So let's just go ahead and pop all of these rates on for everybody on the Jazz, which is basically already ready. I actually don't think I need to change anything. No, I'm going to actually leave it. I think everything that I have in for the Utah is fine right now. Now, Detroit, I assume, is just an awful team to look at today, but maybe we'll get lucky and they'll be easy. Okay, they are easy. So they don't have anybody that's like questionable. It's always helpful when teams don't have Q tags. It's easy to project a team when you know who can actually be on the floor. Jeremy, what's up? And I agree, Kim. I think everybody needs to hit that like button, bump those likes up a little bit. So we get Killian Hayes out here first. Not looking great for Killian Hayes. We're going to give him 26 minutes. We'll go to the center spot. We'll get Isaiah Stewart out there. Isaiah Stewart has played 20 minutes in his first 2 games back. Let's see. Saturday, Detroit played Orlando and won. Isaiah Stewart didn't close. They closed with Trey Lyles and Corey Joseph instead of Killian Hayes and Isaiah Stewart, which is truly awful to see. So that actually makes things so much worse for this entire discussion. But we'll deal with it however we have to. Let's go ahead and give Saban Lee 16 minutes. And then let's project Corey Joseph for like 24, which is brutal. I mean, I think that Beef Stew closes more frequently than not. So I'm going to give him 26 minutes, and it seems like we're going to give Trey Lyles 22. I mean, maybe they like I don't know. I don't know what they like here. Just seems like that's what they should be doing. The Sadiq Bey piece is easy. I mean, Sadiq Bey just plays 36 minutes a game. Cade is going to need, 32? Yeah, we'll go 32. Hamidou Diallo has been pretty firmly in the like 28 to 30 range. So let's go 28 to Hamidou Diallo. That leaves us 30 minutes for Josh Jackson and Rodney Magruder. But Rodney Magruder is going to get traded to Denver for Bol. So Josh Jackson is definitely going to get 18 minutes. And then we just have to give 12 to somebody. That can be just about anybody. I'm just going to give him to Luka Garza. Oh, man. I need a shower, too. All right. That's Detroit. Rates probably matter a little bit just because they still have no Jeremy Grant on the floor. And that is an actual issue. So if we take Jeremy Grant off of the floor for the Pistons, we'll start with Cade Cunningham. Cade has 381 minutes with no Jeremy Grant on the floor this season. 26% usage rate. Big time bumped up assist rate. which is what you like to see. Rebounding rate comes down a little bit, but that's fine. After that, I'm guessing that everybody else looks pretty similar. Corey Joseph does see an increased assist rate, but I don't think that anybody's going to see any sort of like major usage changes. So I think we're all right here. Let's look at game number 2. We're going to start with Utah. Now remember, this is against the Pistons. Hassan Whiteside is 5,300 on FanDuel, 5,200 on DraftKings. Very clearly going to be a big play today. Donovan Mitchell, I think, looks really good on FanDuel at 8,500. A little bit less so on DraftKings at 9,400, but still fine. I think Donovan Mitchell, Bojan, Royce O'Neal, and Mike Conley all look very similar on DK relative to salary. Whiteside is the clear best piece. On the Pistons, 7K Sadiq Bey on DraftKings with dual eligibility is fine. Cade Cunningham for 6,600 on FanDuel looks pretty good. You know, Isaiah Stewart is okay, but we don't have anything too crazy so far. If we look at, let me take this position filter off, line this stuff up so that we can actually see what's going on for this slate. There we go. And there we go. And then we'll add in a little bit of coloring so people can see. And we'll make it bigger. So this is FanDuel on the left, DraftKings on the right. Whiteside, Portis, Giannis is the top trio on DraftKings. Whiteside, Portis, Giannis, the same thing on FanDuel. They are the 3 best plays today. It is not particularly close so far. Donovan Mitchell is close to those guys on FanDuel. That's where we stand so far. All right, 2 games down. On to game number 3. Indiana Pacers at Boston. And I have no idea what the status of the Pacers is right now, so I hope it's easy. It's not. Q tag on Brogdon. No LeVert, Warren, McConnell. Lance Stevenson actually getting signed, which is amazing. Isaiah Jackson questionable. Torrey Craig questionable. Still no Goga. We're going to need to read at least a little bit about what Brogdon's status is because he has been dinged up too. He's missed 8 straight and 9 of 10. He's questionable for today. We saw Duarte get run once again. I don't know what to do with Brogdon, but I assume we need to just put him in now. I think that's what we got to do. I think we just have to treat Brogdon like he's in. At least for right now. Even though he hasn't played since, mid-December. So the game's early enough that I think it's fine to assume that he is in. I'm going to give Malcolm Brogdon 32 minutes. I hope he's ready. Miles Turner, center minutes. This one's easy. Plays about 31 minutes, generally speaking. I'm going to give him 32, assuming it's competitive. Doma backs him up and then plays 36 minutes. Honestly, I should probably give him 37, given how much he normally plays. Justin Holiday, we're going to put in for the 30, I reckon. Seems about right. I know we are getting guys back. So maybe I have to adjust Justin Holiday's 30. But we'll see. We got Duarte back. He played 19 minutes on Saturday. I'm going to assume that he hops right back into like what his normal 28 or so is. And then we just have filler for the rest of these guys. So let's say that Kiefer Sykes then becomes the backup point guard. We get a decent chunk of time to O'Shea Brissett, who's been playing about 20 minutes a game. That leaves us 45 minutes for Dwayne Washington, Lance, and potentially Jeremy Lamb. So I think Dwayne Washington is the guy that is most likely to lose out, although that could just as easily be Sykes. I don't really trust either one of those things, but I think Sykes got picked up and Dwayne Washington didn't. So we're going to go ahead and give Lance Stevenson 22 minutes. Actually, we'll give Lance 24 minutes. We'll give Jeremy Lamb 16. And then I am just going to throw 5 random minutes to Dwayne Washington. So much depends on whether or not Brogdon plays, though. And assuming Brogdon is in, rates for this team will not be all that great, particularly against Boston. I mean, this is a game with a 215 total. That's not good. It's slow. But we do get to take LeVert off. And by taking LeVert off, and I guess probably by taking McConnell off too, like Malcolm Brogdon is going to pop here. Malcolm Brogdon with no LeVert and no McConnell on this season. 30% usage rate. I'm not going to go that crazy, but I am going to bump him up. He's going to be a problem today if he is in. Sabonis' rates basically don't change all that much. He gets a 24. Actually rebounds a bit less, which is weird. Miles Turner, slight bump in rates without those guys, which, again, that makes some sense. Justin Holiday, I'm sure, gets no bump for anything. Chris Duarte, nothing really. So that's Indiana. They don't look all that exciting, which is annoying. Let's look at Boston now. Light crowd today. I'm a little surprised. Tough weekend for everybody. So for Boston, it's no Peyton Pritchard, and then that's it. Everybody is just in. So this should actually be pretty easy to do. A lot of Lance chat in chat. Unfortunately, I can't stand him, so I'm not Team Lance. All right, let's look at Boston. Most of this should be pretty easy. I'm going to give Jason Tatum 36 minutes. I'm going to give Jaylen Brown 36 minutes. We're going to give Time Lord 32 minutes. Al Horford plays the backup run. Plus 13 more minutes. Grant Williams plays, I don't know, 22, 21, 20 minutes. We'll go 20. All right, so we got 87 minutes left over. We need to go to Schroeder and Marcus Smart first. We're going to say Marcus Smart's playing 34. We're going to say Dennis Schroeder is playing not a lot, evidently. We'll go 26. That leaves me 27 minutes for Jay Rich and insert additional person here. So we'll give Josh Richardson. I mean, does he just get those 27 minutes? Is that what we're doing? Yeah, I guess he is. Are they really running an 8-man rotation? I mean, they went 9 with Enes Freedom, so who would I take minutes from? Horford played less. I'm going to assume that Horford played less because he got into foul trouble. Would I be right? Saturday, Boston, game flow. Nah, Freedom just played. Why did Horford not close? No clue. That is the Knicks. I don't really know where I would take the minutes from, though, so I'm fine with this. That's Boston. Let's look at these two teams. Oh, actually, we got to change Boston's rates. Knew I forgot something. And this will have to happen because we do see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just have bigger usage rates than most. 131 viewers, 65 likes. Hit that thumbs up. All right, so everybody that could be in here is in. I guess I'll take Pritchard off. It shouldn't really matter. Let's turn that ceiling fan on here. All right, Jason Tatum this season, no Peyton Pritchard on the floor. 30.5% usage rate. Doesn't really do anything else. Jaylen Brown this season, 29.5% usage rate. And I'm going to have to enter in everybody else here. Is that what this is saying? Dennis Schroeder, 24. Bump up Horford. Jay Rich. Marcus Smart, 16.5% usage rate this season. And then very little at a good old Time Lord. But more than anything, since he plays alongside Al Horford so much, Robert Williams' rebounding rate alongside Al Horford is not nearly what you would want it to be. So let's make sure that we knock that down. So let's do something like this. That's Boston. So we got Boston and Indiana, and I don't think that we have a lot here that we want to like. For the Pacers, nothing. I mean, there's just no priorities. You don't see any big blue numbers here. So maybe a little bit of Turner or Brogdon if he is in. On the Boston side, nothing. This game isn't very good. Watch these charts. Watch to see where the Boston guys end up. Where's the highest Boston guy? There's not even any Pacers guys over here. Like Brogdon on FanDuel, and he's 10 points clear of these guys. Look, these guys look awful. This entire game is terrible. I am avoiding Boston and Indiana like the plague. So let's dodge overtime there. San Antonio at the New York Knicks. Spurs are 6.5-point dogs in New York. As we look at San Antonio, we've got Derek White out, Keldon Johnson out, Vassell out, Trey Jones out, Thad Young out, Zach Collins out. Q tag on Doug McDermott, which is actually important given the way that their depth chart looks. It's a lot easier to tell if it's just going to be a guard. So for San Antonio, let's scratch this rotation. We'll go to DeJounte Murray right away. It appears he's playing about 36 minutes in a competitive game. I'm going to go 35 here. They are kind of big-ish dogs. So that's 35 for DeJounte. We're getting, I don't know, 30 for Jakob Poeltl. And I'm going to go straight backup run to Jock Landale. Forgot I got to add Tyler Johnson to this team. So we'll move him from Philly to San Antonio. These guys just bounce around so much. If you take a 2-day weekend or a 3-day weekend, all of a sudden there's 10 guys on different teams than there were when you started on Friday. All right, I'm going to... Oh, I didn't actually refresh this. That's annoying. There we go. Is Tyler Johnson just going to be the backup point guard here? He certainly might. Josh Primo playing big minutes. Keita Bates, Diop playing big minutes. So I'm going to assume McDermott is playing and starting and playing his at least 26 minutes like he normally does. We're going to want to give Bryn Forbes maybe something in like the 26-minute range. I think we're going to want to give Lonnie Walker, 30, right? got to be starting. Keita Bates Diop is the next guy that needs to get time, and I think he's getting at least 22 here, if not more. Yeah, I'm going to go to 28. So that's 34 minutes left for Primo and insert whoever else we think here. Do I just give 22 minutes here to Josh Primo and 12 minutes to someone else? Is there a someone else? I don't think there's a someone else, not for this team. Because they didn't play Wieskamp. So we could either go to a 9-man rotation, which they went 9 guys. Kaycock played, so that doesn't. I think that I need to just spread these 12 minutes out to the guys that I have in this game, which means we give a little bit of extra time to Tyler Johnson, take him up to 18. I think I can keep Bryn Forbes at 26. I'm going to take Josh Primo to 26. That leaves me 3 more. Now, that is actually a problem, which I'm going to solve by just going to like Joe Wieskamp for 3 minutes. So let's do that. And now we'll look at San Antonio rates. And obviously, these are going to be a little bit different because we have quite a few guys out for San Antonio. We're definitely going to take Derek White off first. And I think Keldon Johnson would be the other person that needs to come off. Nobody else is like a really big usage guy. Like Vassell isn't. So I think that keeps everything pretty natural here. I should take Trey Jones off, but I think that's a decent enough proxy right now. So with no White, no Johnson on the floor, DeJounte Murray, 26.5% usage rate in 243 minutes. Major assist rate bump as well. And a little bit of a rebounding bump. Johnny Myers, thank you for popping in for the like. I appreciate it. That helps out a ton. Lonnie Walker, also massive rate bump. Lonnie Walker is going to be looking pretty damn good in this one. Keita doesn't really change. Bryn Forbes is another guy that gets like this weird usage bump in these situations that you would never expect. And then McDermott's only played 57 minutes in this scenario, so I'm just going to let McDermott be McDermott. Jakob Poeltl, I can't imagine any real changes here. Oddly enough, Jakob Poeltl in 149 minutes is pulling down basically no rebounds. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. So we're not going to pay too much attention to it. I think all of these rates and everything look good for San Antonio. Lonnie Walker is going to be popping up here. Now we go to the Knicks. They have been pretty easy. Are they here? No, of course not. Kemba, questionable. Fournier, questionable. Nerlens Noel, questionable. All right, we got to at least read a little bit about the Knicks here. So Kemba had missed 5 straight, but if he's questionable, I'm going to assume that he is in. Fournier sat out against Boston again. I'm going to say that he's back. The Nerlens Noel piece, I don't really care too much about. So let's go back to the Knicks. Let's delete this entire rotation. All right, if Kemba plays, how much is he playing? He's missed 5 games. Let's do the centers first then. We got Mitch. All right, assuming Noel is back, I'm just going to assume that he's also the backup. So let's go 27-21. And then we get Randall in for 36 minutes. How many minutes does Kemba Walker play if he comes back now? Does he get Tibbsed and just play 36 again and get hurt? Or do they ease him back? That is the question. I mean, at this point, I think we could safely just pop RJ Barrett in for 34. I'm going to assume that Alec Burks starts. And if that's the case, I got him in for 34 minutes. I'm going to give Kemba Walker 20 minutes just as a backup. I don't know what else to do here. So that gets Burks in. That gets Kemba in. I think we just drop quickly back down to his like normal 24 minutes. That leaves me 32 more minutes for Quentin Grimes and... Wow, I don't even know who. All right, so Quentin Grimes is going to play 27 minutes. He's playing like 18 a game. Oh, I still got to give Fournier minutes. Assuming Fournier plays and plays his normal 26. I don't know. We'll do like 26 and 6. Something like that. 20. Should it be 28? Do I cut Grimes? Yeah, that's what I do here. We cut Grimes completely. And then we do something like 24 to Kemba. That's what we do right there. Now, rates for the New York Knicks. We got to take Rose off, but that's really the only issue. That should show like a little bit of a bump statistically across the board. But in the grand scheme of things, it really apparently doesn't. Everything else just sort of holds true here. So I don't have anything that I really want to change from a rates perspective on this team. Does Kemba even get a bigger assist rate? No. All right, I'm actually fine with this. So we're good there. That's going to be San Antonio first. Spurs. Lonnie Walker, 4,400 on FanDuel, 4,200 on DraftKings. Definitely the best Spur play. Jakob Poeltl on FanDuel looks okay. DeJounte Murray on DraftKings looks okay at 9,700. Keita Bates-Diop looks fine as a value option across both sites. For the Knicks, Alec Burks, 5,800 on FanDuel, 5,600 on DraftKings. Assuming he starts, he's the guy that I would like to get to most from the Knicks. I think Barrett and Mitchell Robinson and Randall all look pretty similar to each other. If we add in game number 4, you guys can see where these guys stack up next to everybody. And you can see, like, Burks is pretty high up, but he's in, like, the second tier with Lonnie Walker on DraftKings. Lonnie Walker is up there, but he's at, like, the top of the second tier. There's a clear line in the sand under Donovan Mitchell. But it's Burks and Lonnie Walker out of that game. All right, 3 to go. Philly, 10.5-point favorites in Houston. What do we know for Philly? Still no Maxey, no Shake, no Jaden Springer. Isaiah Joe off of the injury report. So we'll see how much that matters. Philly should actually be pretty easy to handle here. I am going to scratch the entire rotation, though. Let's get Seth Curry in for 36 minutes. That's just what he plays. Tobias Harris. Actually, we're going to go to 30. We're going to go a minute down on everybody else just because of it being Houston. Embiid, I only ever give 34 minutes anyway. We have Andre Drummond the backup run. Actually, let's go 33-15. Alrighty. So that's pretty easy for Philly so far. We saw Thibault come back, go straight into 33 minutes, which he had been playing before. So I have no reason to suspect that's not happening again. And then similar story for Korkmaz. I'm just going straight to 33 minutes on Korkmaz, which makes the rest of this really easy to manage. Now, we have no idea how many minutes Danny Green is actually going to play, so we could try to figure that out a bit. But most of this is going to be pretty simple. We're going to go to 24 minutes for Danny Green. Oh, shit, I still got to give George Niang minutes. George Niang is playing about 20 minutes a game. So let's bump 7 of those minutes down. We give Danny Green his 24. And then just like 12 minutes to Isaiah Joe. Yeah. Philly is so simple to project right now. That is really appealing. We do need to grab new Philly rates, because we got to take off the 2 point guards. So we lose Maxey. We lose Shake Milton. This is actually important. So these rates will change pretty dramatically. Joel Embiid, 185 minutes with no Tyrese Maxey, no Shake Milton on the floor. 41% usage rate this season. Now, do I think that that continues? No. Am I going close to that? Yes. Assist rate goes up too. Now he's rebounding a lot less, which I think is just because he's coming off the floor a little bit more, but I can't like immediately make him a bad rebounder. But either way, Embiid looking really, really good. Seth Curry then, 22% usage rate in this time. I think that that is mostly real. Gets a massive assist rate bump as well. So we'll bump that up too. He's at a 0.94 fantasy point per minute rate this season. Embiid, by the way, 1.6 FanDuel points per minute in that time. I think he's been shooting kind of poorly. I got him at 1.76 in this spot. Furkan, let's get Tobias Harris next. He's got a 22.8% usage rate in 213 minutes. So somehow it's actually worse than when he's normally out there. I don't know how much I should read into that, but we're going to read into that. Then we get Matisse Thybulle. He's just going to get whatever sort of spillover rotation stuff happens. Furkan Korkmaz has played the most minutes with no Maxey, no Milton, 229. He's got a 21% usage rate in that time. Doesn't really get a huge change in rates. Everything Thybulle does is just sort of bad all the time, so he just gets whatever shows up. So that's Philly. There's going to be a lot to like here for Philly. We're going to be adding some more people to our priority list. We then go to Houston, who are just bad, and anybody could literally be playing today, and I would believe it. So for Houston, no Şengün, no Armani Brooks, no Usman Garuba. So actually, Houston should be pretty easy to project. So we'll start at the point guard spot. I think if this game is competitive, we're getting like 31, 32 minutes out of Kevin Porter. And then similar stuff for Jalen Green. We'll go 31. I'm going to go to the same 31 minutes for Christian Wood. Actually, I'm going to go to 32 on Jalen Green. Now, you know what? We're going to stick at 31. I think that's fine. We're going to go to 29 on Jayshawn Tate. We're going to go to 29 on Eric Gordon. The rest of this should be pretty easy. Garrison Matthews is also going to get about 29 minutes. Who's the backup point guard? So it's been Josh Christopher, I guess. Christopher's playing somewhere in the 20s. That lets us get Matthews up to 28. Backup center, I guess, is Kenyon Martin. And then he plays a little bit more. And that leaves me 20 minutes for what I assume to be David Nwaba. $19 minutes for David Nwaba. That's what we'll do. Bang, got it. So 9-man Houston rotation, very easy to deal with. Rates probably don't have to change all that much because everybody that can be in that's relevant is in. So we just need to see how much they change. And they don't really change all that much. Jalen Green, fine. Kevin Porter, fine. I don't have any rates to change if these guys are going to be at full strength. So let's assume Houston's fine. Crispy, what's up? Didn't see that message. Good to see you. All right, Philly. Yeah, Joel Embiid, big time play today. Add him to the list of centers that look really good. Korkmaz, 4,900 on DraftKings is probably the second best option. Harris, Curry, Korkmaz, Thibault on FanDuel all look very, very similar. Korkmaz and Curry are just better on DK. I don't really love the 8K Tobias Harris price tag on DraftKings. He doesn't get a big benefit from that site, so. But Philly's still looking pretty good. For Houston, no major priorities. Christian Wood continues to look good. He's just 7K. Easier to play on FanDuel because he's got the power forward eligibility. Kevin Porter is just somebody that I have interest in at about a fantasy point per minute. And then Jayshawn Tate for 5,200 is worth a look on DraftKings. You'll be able to see where Embiid stacks up now on this list. As you can see, Embiid, probably my favorite option on DraftKings right now. I mean, Whiteside's like the easier value piece, but Embiid is at the top. Portis, Giannis, Whiteside, Embiid, just going to be very much a core of mine on FanDuel. We got 2 more games to go. Cleveland and Sacramento. Cavs are 4.5-point favorites in Sacramento. We've got a Q tag on Darius Garland, and then just no Isaac Okoro. I'm assuming Garland is playing. I don't know why I wouldn't. Which means that Cleveland's rotation should be pretty easy. But again, I want to start everything from scratch today. It's been a while since we've done like a full reboot. So if we start with Garland, I think we're going straight into 35 minutes in a competitive game. I think Jared Allen goes in for 34. I think Evan Mobley goes in for 35. I think Lauri Markkanen goes in for 30. Lamar Stevens got the start, or has been at least getting the start. So seems to me like he's going to be the guy. Rondo played a little bit more than anybody was probably expecting. We did get Chetty back for 30 minutes 2 nights ago. So I guess like Chetty could be the guy that gets a lot more time too. That's the complicating nature. I think we get Kevin Love back to his like 24 minutes a game. I'm going to pop Chetty in for, because we're assuming it's Garland, Markkanen, Mobley, Allen, and then I don't know. I think Lamar Stevens probably gets those starts. Did Chetty start on the 7th? No, it was Lamar Stevens both times. Okay, so Lamar Stevens then, I'm going to go 24 to Stevens. I'm going to go 26 to Chetty. I do want to give Rondo like extra time, unfortunately. So we're going to take him up to 20. That leaves me 12 minutes. They did not play. Wait, who am I missing? Oh, Dylan Windler. Perfect. Dylan Windler gets 12, and we walk away from Cleveland. Now, rates do need to change a little bit. I can't just use their normal stuff just because of Sexton and Rubio being done. We're at the 7:30 mark. 98 likes. 2 more likes and we hit our mark. So if you are here and you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, go for it. All right, if we take off Colin Sexton and Ricky Rubio, Darius Garland, 28% usage rate this season. Monster assist bump. Jared Allen, does get a bit of a usage bump. For some reason, rebounds significantly less. Evan Mobley, 21.5% usage rate. Gets no real changes to his rate. Markkanen, I'm sure, does very little else, which is true. Lamar Stevens, I can't imagine I have to care about too much. Rondo, I don't give a shit about. Chetty actually does get a little bit more usage, so I'm going to lock him into his normal rates, but we're not really liking anything for Cleveland here, which is kind of a bummer. In a matchup against Sacramento, you don't want to waste it, but we are apparently wasting it. Let's go to Sacramento now, where Q-tag on Rashawn Holmes, Q-tag on Mo Harkless. We haven't seen Holmes in ages from COVID, and he's already missed a ton of time otherwise. We haven't seen Holmes play yet in 2022. So I'm going to assume that he's in. So let's put Holmes in. I'm going to say he plays 26 minutes. And I think Alex Len will be the backup center. I think Marvin Bagley will get, 24 minutes. We're going to get De'Aaron Fox in for 35. We're going to get Tyrese Halliburton in for 34. We're going to get Harrison Barnes in for 32. The rest of this should be pretty easy. We got Terrence Davis back. He played 13 minutes this last time out. I'm just going to go ahead and slot him in for those 13 minutes. We also got Chimezie Metu back, which is interesting. I'm going to give Buddy Hield 28 minutes. And then it's sort of like Metu and Davion Mitchell. I guess I've already missed Davion Mitchell, so something else interesting is going to happen here. We're going to give Mitchell 22 minutes. Wow, it's either going to be Metu or Davis. They don't have the rotation space any longer, unless they take minutes from Alex Len to stretch out Metu, which is possible. Maybe we go like something like this. Because I don't know who's going to play when this team is at full strength. Maybe it's not Terrence Davis and it is Metu. I don't think it matters from like these guys are playable in fantasy perspective, but and then for Sacramento, I don't really think we have many rates that we need to change here because this team is just at full strength again. I do need to bump Harrison Barnes' usage rate up a little, but everybody else should be about where we would expect just on their normal rates. I mean, I guess Bagley's a guy that's been doing a little bit less. No, I think I'm happy with Sacramento. So that's Cleveland and Sacramento. For Cleveland, no real priorities. Mobley, Garland, Allen is about all you want to do on FanDuel. Similar story on DraftKings, although Garland for 8,900 is not really a play. So Cleveland doesn't look very good. Sacramento, similar story, except for De'Aaron Fox at 7,600 on DraftKings looks better. But Halliburton and Barnes maybe a little bit. Just you're not going to see Cleveland and Sacramento jumping to the top, which is not something you would expect on a 7-game slate, but they're nowhere to be found at the top of this list. Like Fox is 9th on DraftKings at best. It's bleak. We close it out then. Brooklyn at Portland. The Brooklyn Nets are 10.5-point favorites because Kyrie Irving's allowed to play in this one. So we get James Harden in, we get Durant in, Irving is available. Only guy that we don't know of is LaMarcus Aldridge. Not a huge issue whether he plays or not. So in the Kyrie game on Wednesday the 5th, we saw a starting lineup of Irving, Durant, Claxton, Harden, and David Duke. Has David Duke continued to start? Did he start on Sunday? Because I know he started on Friday. David Duke did start. Okay, so he's continuing to start and, like, play, which is something. All right, so we get Kyrie Irving in. He played 32 minutes his first game out. I don't really see a scenario where he wouldn't do the same thing. I don't want to go too many minutes here for Kyrie because of the fact that they're playing Portland and that they should smack them. So I'm going to go with 32 again. And then Patty Mills will be the backup point guard, but still probably play about 30 minutes. So let's pop those 30 in. We go 18 and 14. We get James Harden out there for 36. We're getting KD out there for 36. We're getting Clax out there for 26. And I'm going to say that Aldridge plays the other 22. David Duke. Did I look at the wrong guy here? Did he really play 28 minutes? Why is David Duke showing for 28 minutes when that's not what I have? Is the right date? January 9th? Why do I have 17? What's the truth? ESPN box score. NBA. David Duke played 18 minutes. Okay, so Popcorn Machine is wrong here for David Duke's rotation, and I don't totally know why. So let's see what the Wowie one has it as. Don't know why that would be weird. All right, rotations, Brooklyn. All right, so David Duke didn't play the fourth quarter at all. Played 16 minutes. That is the rotation I was expecting. So we're going to give David Duke 18 minutes. And that explains a lot more. Cam Thomas has played 30 minutes the past two games. I think that that's going to continue. So I'm going to give him 28. And then, is it Bembry probably gets 12? Could be James Johnson as well. Interesting rotations. If Aldridge is out, then James Johnson can play a little bit more at the backup five against Portland, and that'd be fine. But Cam Thomas's minutes are starting to get kind of wild. I mean, he's coming in off the bench, starting, playing big chunks of the fourth. Maybe that should be like 26 minutes, but I like that. Now, these rates are just going to look terrible for Brooklyn because we just don't have enough sample with these three guys on the floor together. Yeah, I don't really have changes that I want to make. I am going to try to give these guys like close to their usage. It's just, it makes it really difficult to care about this team. So that's Brooklyn. Now we'll look at Portland. And for Portland, final team of the night, we've got no CJ, no Powell, no Nance, no Lillard. This should be pretty easy to handle. We've been looking at this Portland team like this a lot lately. No reason to think that something different is about to happen. So we're going to start with Portland. Anthony Simons, 34 minutes. We've got Nurkic in for... I mean, this is going to be a great spot for him. I'm going to say 33 minutes if this one's competitive. We're going to get Nas Little in for 33 minutes. We're going to get Robert Covington in for 33 minutes. That's everybody that's been playing the big time stuff. Now we need to break down the rest of this. So they're really just casting a wide net. We're going to go 14 minutes to Dennis Smith Jr. plus a little bit more at the 2. That's okay. We have been getting like 24 or so minutes out of Ben McLemore, so we can pop that in. So that works. Backup center, we do have Cody Zeller back. We'll say that's 11 minutes. Maybe they go small a little bit. They do have that ability. So there's 33. CJ Ellaby has been playing. We're going to give CJ Ellaby like 14 minutes. Tony Snell and Trendon Watford are the final 2 guys that should both play, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. Who am I missing? I'm not saving that many minutes. Maybe I give 16 to Ellaby. 19 to Trendon Watford. 19 to Tony Snell. Rates obviously have to change. This is a completely different team with no Dame, no CJ, no Norm Powell. Oh yeah, no Norm Powell too. Is there even a sample for these guys? Can I even look at this? I mean, this is going to be nuts. No Dame, no CJ, no Norm Powell. How many minutes have they played without those 3 guys on the floor? 10? Lillard, McCollum, Powell. No Dame, no CJ, no Norm Powell. Ben McLemore has played the most minutes, 157. Take him up to 26 minutes. This is bonkers. So Simons has played 108 minutes without those 3 guys on the floor. I guess in theory, I'm going to take it back to last year just to see. And I think I just probably have to take off what? Melo? Yeah. If we take off Melo, they'll give us like a couple extra minutes here. All right, that's going to be the best that we could really hope for. So Simons gets the giant usage bump. We're going to take him up to like, 25%. Yusuf Nurkic has only played 52 minutes without those guys on the floor. Also a pretty big usage bump. I'm going to actually leave Norm Powell out there just to increase this sample a little bit. Because if I put Norm Powell out there, it really gets these guys back up in minutes. Nurk looking incredible. Simon's looking pretty tasty too. Robert Covington is indifferent. Nas Little gets a massive usage bump. 0.87 fantasy points per minute. Trendon Watford. Yeah, I think we're good for the rest of this. McLemore doesn't do anything too crazy. So let's knock that back. But Nas Little, Robert Covington, Nurkic, Simons. We're going to have a lot to like here for Portland. Let's look at Brooklyn first. And for Brooklyn, I mean, James Harden's 9,400. FanDuel has priced Brooklyn sort of appropriately. Durant, to me, is basically unplayable at 11K. Still has the ceiling, but can't trust it. You know, like, I don't totally know what to do here with Harden. We'll talk that with Adam, but I like Harden right now. At least a little bit. Maybe I need to cut his assist rate just a little bit. Just soften that slightly. But I like Harden on FanDuel at 9,400. That's a great price. You could take a shot on Kyrie at 7,800 on FanDuel. I think that's reasonable. These guys are hard to get to on DraftKings. For Portland, though, another center, Nurkic, 7,400 on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. I just want to play a ton of him. I got him in for 1.44 fantasy points per minute. He just gets a bump in everything that he does. And it's a great rebounding spot. Nas Little is a guy that I've been getting so much of lately. I think you have to. Anthony Simons is 6,400 on DraftKings. Great value. Covington, good value across both sites. There's a lot to like for Portland. Connor, you haven't played Kyrie yet because he's only played one game. You had one opportunity to do so. All right, so these are the tables. You can see Nurkic jumping to the top by every mile possible. Now, I'm going to take one little bit of his usage off, but I think Yusuf Nurkic is the best play of the day today. Time to run our crunches. 180 viewers. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Let's find out what we've got for optimals today on this lovely Monday morning. All right, so let's go ahead and get this saved. Copy, copy, copy. Weird. All right, FanDuel optimals, first one up. What do we see? Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, Furkan Korkmaz, Lonnie Walker, Giannis, Nas Little, Christian Wood, Bobby Portis, Hassan Whiteside. I don't see anything in that lineup that bothers me other than I just get too much Nas Little, and he's been really bad as of late. But I like that lineup a lot. Morning Coffee and Kush. Greg Smith. No one has ever told me that I look like Justin Herbert, but I'll take it. So that's the optimal lineup by 0.4 of a point. Now, power rankings. Bang. Alec Burks will be controversial for me because we don't know what's going on with Kemba. But looking like Bobby Portis is the top play of the day here. No part of that is surprising to me. That's what happens when you face Charlotte. So it's Portis at the top of the power rankings. Giannis second. Nurkic third. Whiteside fourth. LaMelo. Harden. Nas Little. Donovan Mitchell. Kevin Porter Jr., Lonnie Walker. That's everybody north of 20%. Now let's close it out with DraftKings. For DraftKings, I think it's going to look a little bit different here. DK optimal. Anthony Simons, Lonnie Walker, Nas Little, Giannis, Whiteside, Korkmaz, Jayshawn Tate, and Yusuf Nurkic. That is the optimal by 0.4 of a point. If you want to, you can swap around. You get like Jayshawn Tate comes off, Jordan Clarkson comes on. Is that the only change? It is. Yeah, you can swap Tate for Clarkson. William, I think you should probably reconsider that thought. Yeah, I'm going to have a ton of Whiteside today. No surprises. There's just so many good center plays. Well, Yusuf Nurkic is the, I don't want to say unquestioned number one play on DraftKings, but he is very clearly number one. I like this slate so far. It's got some decent games, some like solid value, at least so far. It doesn't seem to have a ton of stuff we're waiting on either. So Nurkic is the number one play on DK, not close, at least not to me. Hassan Whiteside, Anthony Simons, Furkan Korkmaz, Lonnie Walker is the next group. And then Nas Little, Alec Burks, De'Aaron Fox, Giannis, and Jordan Nwora, along with Sadiq Bey, close out the rest of DraftKings. And since someone asked, we will do it. Here's a quick Yahoo. No Yahoo contenders today. That's just Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. But we could at least check out the Yahoo Optimal, which for me right now is Alec Burks, Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie Irving, Lonnie Walker, Giannis, Matisse Thybulle, Hassan Whiteside, and Yusuf Nurkic. I mean, Lonnie Walker on Yahoo today is going to be one of the most popular plays of the day. Flat $10, playing 30 minutes or more, you would think. I'm guessing Lonnie Walker is very clearly at the top of this list as we start running it. Not like at the top, but like as a really good $10 play. One of the easier value pieces you'll get to today. Looking like Nurkic or Whiteside are the top play. Leaning more Nurkic on Yahoo. So it's going to be Nurkic, Lonnie Walker. Nurkic clearly won. Walker, Whiteside, Portis, Korkmaz, Randall, Little. That's everybody north of 20. There's a C above 15. So Yusuf Nurkic is your number one play today. Jam him in everywhere. 7 games up, guys. 7 games down. Shout out to Prize Picks once again for being the presenting sponsor. We hit our 100 like mark. We got another one of these bad boys in the books. This is a great slate, actually. I think we're going to have some fun with it. Contenders videos will be out shortly. Strategy show at 10 a.m. with Adam. 7 games is perfect. That's enough time that we can actually dig into some of these games, and especially for the times where we skip out on like the talking about Boston and stuff like that, which worked out so well last week. That's where we're at, though, guys. Thank you for being here. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. And then I'm on Live Before Lock tonight with Greg, so we'll be taking you all the way up until 7. Join in for that one. Thanks to you guys. Good luck tonight, everybody. Win that money. We're back again tomorrow morning doing it all again. This is The Process.